Riz Ahmed covers both of those art forms. He's an actor and a hip-hop musician. He may not yet be a household name, but Riz is well on his way. Over the last 2 years, he had a blockbuster breakout in Rogue One, a Star Wars story. He appeared on the cover of Time magazine as one of the world's most influential people, and he became the first Asian man and the first Muslim ever to win an Emmy Award for acting. This weekend, Ahmed takes another big step into the spotlight, playing the villain in the new Marvel movie, Venom. Riz and I got together in Brooklyn for a Sunday Sitdown.
They found the Death Star plans. They have to transmit them from...
As an actor...
Space exploration is crucial.
And a rapper.
Half goes repush, half of the Class A's and bass drops.
35-year-old Riz Ahmed leads a professional double life, straddling cultures and challenging stereotypes.
I'm one of the instructors, Paul Louis.
I think everyone can really connect to the idea of feeling like an insider and an outsider.
Yep.
As someone who's welcomed, as someone who's pushed away.
On stage with a mic in his hand as part of the hip-hop group The Sweatshop Boys, Ahmed is known as Riz MC. On screen, he is one of Hollywood's fastest rising stars after introducing himself to an American audience in the 2014 Oscar-nominated Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Why hire you?
I took 3 buses to get here. I finished high school. I need a job.
In 2016, he landed a starring role in HBO's The Night Of, where he transformed from a naive boy to a hardened prison inmate in a performance that earned him the Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor.
It looks like I killed her, I know that.
That same year, Ahmed made his big-budget movie debut as rebel pilot Bodhi Rook in the billion-dollar blockbuster Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
There's a 26% chance of failure.
How much further? I don't know, I'm not sure. I never really come this way.
But to Ahmed, mainstream success and the embrace of Hollywood still feel a bit odd.
No kid is born feeling like an outsider. You're sometimes made to feel like an outsider by the experiences you have. And for me, it was kind of interesting because I felt like an outsider everywhere.
Ahmed was raised in the working-class town of Wembley in northwest London by parents who immigrated to England from Pakistan. He grew up in a traditional Pakistani home and earned a scholarship to a prestigious, predominantly white secondary school.
I think that's kind of why and how I started acting, was just, you know, code switching was a natural part of my survival mechanism. I'd literally be changing costumes over the course of a day, be wearing a, you know, traditional shalwar kameez sometimes at home. I'd go to school wearing a, you know, blazer and tie and going hang out with my friends and changing into my jeans and my, you know, baseball jacket.
Riz is still one of us.
So how does a British kid raised in a Pakistani home grow up on Snoop Dogg, Biggie Smalls, and the Wu-Tang Clan?
Well, it's really all my brother's fault that I became a rapper, because he did a really silly thing. He told me, listen, all these cassettes, these rap tapes, they've got swearing on it. You can't listen to them, okay? So when I leave the house, don't listen to them. So of course, the first thing I did when he left is I memorized all of it.
Ahmed attended Oxford University, where he studied philosophy, politics, and economics before heading off to London's Central School of Speech and Drama to study acting.
So when you come home and say, Mom, Dad, I'm going to be an actor, what did they say?
I think, you know, any sane parent freaks out when their kid says that. But also, being the people they were, being so supportive and loving, they wanted me to try it out and, you know, maybe hope that I'd grow out of it. And I think my dad still might be hoping that I'd grow out of it. And I think it was a few years ago I was doing Nightcrawler, and I said, I'm doing this film with Jake Gyllenhaal, you know, he's this big American actor. And my dad listened quietly and he went, you know, it's still not too late to become a banker.
Have you sold them by now? Did Rogue One do it for you? Maybe the Emmy.
Will be good, man.
This is
They're big fans of yours.
We're gonna nail it down,
this is
Dad.
The one, yeah.
He's made it. He's here.
See, he said it. He said it.
How does that work, you know?
Perhaps his father will be convinced by Ahmed's next role. He's starring as evil genius Carlton Drake in the upcoming Marvel superhero movie, Venom.
History starts today. I really think Carlton Drake's not a bad guy. You know, he's trying to save the world, quite literally.
Did you draw inspiration from any real-life entrepreneurs?
So I wasn't drawing specifically from, you know, Mark Zuckerberg or an Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. But what was part of my research for this character was a certain way of seeing the world. Okay, the world's about to destroy itself, and I'm the only person that can save it.
Right.
Ahmed's socially conscious music probably won't save the world, but it may change it. Riz raps about his life as a Muslim man.
TSA, always wanna burst my bubble. Always get a random check when I rock the stubble.
Does that stuff come from experience with you?
That's something that happened to me every time I flew to America until very recently. It's hard not to find it frustrating, but it also would take on some really bizarre kind of twists where it would almost become comical. For example, when I was getting on the plane to do the Star Wars press tour, you know, I'd be stopped for a second time and patted down and searched. And, you know, at this point, the guys searching me are like, they're fans of mine. So they're quoting rap lyrics back at me about being searched at the airport.
No.
While they're searching me at the airport.
You're kidding.
And then they're asking me for selfies.
So you gave him the selfies, though?
I did give him the selfies, but then something even weirder happened, which is I got on the plane and I sat down and I picked up the in-flight magazine and I was on the cover of it.
Ahmed finds himself on the cover of quite a few magazines these days, including one that floated the idea of the actor as the next James Bond.
I think GQ put it on their magazine cover. They just said, the first Brown Bond ? But they never, we didn't really talk about it. I didn't say I'd welcome, it wasn't like really a thing. So.
Right. Well, would you like to play James Bond in the interest of stretching the culture?
So for me, quite honestly, not to sound like that wouldn't be an amazing thing to be asked to do, it has to come down to ultimately the script and the character and where you're at and whether you feel like you can really contribute something to that, you know?
Okay, so no Bond yet. We'll put it on the back burner for you. We'll see. He'd be a good James Bond, but for now, he'll be that Marvel villain as Venom is in theaters right now. Our thanks to Fulton Hall in Brooklyn for hosting us. Riz does a different, often American accent in almost every role he plays. To hear his acting secret for nailing those, check out our web extras at today.com/Sunday. And don't forget to subscribe to the Sunday Sitdown podcast to hear the entire unedited interview with Riz Ahmed. You can find it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.